Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for introducing me to the members and the guests. I'm feeling fortunate today to have an opportunity to share some parts of my mother's and father's life experiences and my own experiences as a village girl to all of you. The topics of my speech for today is my parents and my bright experiences as a village girl. As a part of my speech, I would like to share some of the photographs that can take you to our village where you can travel with me throughout the speech. Are you ready for that? Thank you. I have some photographs here. This is my house where I grew up. Then this is the hilly area surrounded our house. And that is from where I came to the United States.
We don't see those, Meera.
You cannot see that?
No.
Oh, then I'll continue my speech. I'm sorry for that. Now I can come here. Now I'm coming to the point of my speech. Have you ever heard about a girl getting married at the age of 7 in your family lines? If so, please raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you. It is not common, but it happens in my family. I want to share that part with you guys today. You might be surprised when you will know the age of my parents when they were married. My mother was just 7 years old, and my father was 9 years old when they entered in their marriage life. After my mother was married, she spent her entire life, my father's home, by sleeping beside her mother-in-law. She was so young that she did not know what to do or what not to do. As a daughter-in-law of the family, her role was to be fetch 1 gallon of water from a lake several times in a day. She grew up playing with my father and her sister-in-laws in my father's house. The relationship between my mother and father was not just a bond of marriage, but they were honest friends. I would like to describe my parents' relationship as an immortal friendship between the husband and wife, which was never ended in their entire lifetime. When my parents reached at their young adulthood, they started their family life. As their wish, they got 5 lovely kids in their family. Among them, I was the third child of my mother and father. I was born in a remote area of Nepal. It was one of the backward region of country. There was not any means of transportation to travel to and no electricity to switch on when days turns into the nights. There was a few schools where village children could go to get their education. No drinking water services available around the villagers. People had to travel up and down the hills for an hour to take some water for the family and domestic animals such as cows, goats, and buffaloes. When we villagers were going through the gloomy side of life in a tiny corner of the world, the 21st century of the world was moving incredibly faster towards the technological development, but we're not in the same boat. I still remember very well that when I was 14 years old, some colorful trucks arrived in our village as a means of transportation. It was the first time we villagers had an opportunity to see the trucks around us. I and some of my friends were so excited about it that we wanted to touch them to know that how they feel like. One day, we 3 girls sneaked from our classroom and walked up to the 10 minutes to see the trucks again. Without thinking any consequences to be faced next day, we just climbed up back to the large red truck hiding in the one corner of its side. Once the truck took its motion, jumping and bumping in a brand new road, we 3 young girls started rolling from one corner to another corner, holding to each other tightly and laughing. No one knew that we 3 young, energetic girls were enjoying our day at the ultimate level of happiness in the empty truck. After we travel almost an hour in the muddy and hilly road, we decided to leave the truck and go back to home. That was how we ended our first ever truck journey. When we returned home, covering our face and clothes with brown, red, and yellowish mixed dust, our friends couldn't recognize us because of dust all over us. The next day, we had to stand under the hot sun for 20 minutes as a punishment of leaving the class without permission. This punishment was a wonderful event for me because it had been compressed into the box of my memories in my life. I will never forget it. It always blinks as a star in the one layer of my memory. Although my parents were not highly educated, but their primary goal was to educate their children at the highest level possible. My mother could barely read and write, and my father stopped going to school after he passed the 8th standard. However, they started sending their children to school no matter what challenges they had to face in village. In those days, living in our village was like to bite a bullet. But it could not stop our parents to send us out of the village to get further education. We all 5 children went to capital city Kathmandu to get our higher education. From there, our journey began to get a better education in the foreign country like the United States. As a consequence of my father and mother's strong desire of educating children at the highest level of degrees, my older brother was able to receive his doctorate degree from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston, and now he works as a scientist at the same institution. My sister is a management director for a non-profitable organization in Australia. My second brother works as a civil engineer back home in Nepal, and my younger brother is a CEO of Balance Investment Company in Iowa and Washington. I work as a domestic violence advocate for some years in different locations of the United States, and currently I work as a business development consultant. At last, getting married in their very young age did not prevent my mother and father from building up a constructive relationship between them. They never failed to protect their relationship as a husband and wife and as an honest life partner. Besides that, they always compromise with the challenges they encounter in their life in terms of sending their children out of the village to get higher education inside and outside the country. I enjoyed my village life very much, even though I had very less opportunity to explore my talent. It was the nature I always loved to play with in my village. It was my bright side of experiences as a village girl. Thank you very much for traveling with me in our village. Back to Toastmaster.